the man suddenly saw something strange on the surveillance footage. The door of the apartment lobby opened and closed on its own, but no one was seen entering. Then he turned his eyes to the elevator hall camera. The lights in the elevator hall lit up one after another. The elevator itself was completely empty, yet it was moving on its own. Meanwhile, the hallway camera showed the elevator finally stopped on the 34th floor. The motion lights in the hallway came on one by one. Faced with such a terrifying scene, the man was terrified. He called his friend in panic, but no one answered the call. Then he cautiously approached the door. He peeked outside through the peephole, but the next second he was knocked to the ground. The next day, Flynn and Nadia arrived at the scene after receiving the report. The victim was shot in the eye and killed instantly. The coroner estimated the time of death to be after 7 p.m. Nadia initially concluded that this was a targeted assassination. The counterterrorism command had to get involved in the case. That's when they discovered the man's surveillance system. The extensive security setup shocked them. Everyone realized the man was not an ordinary person. Later they learned from his neighbors that he was a scientist specializing in computer technology. He was known for valuing his privacy. Meanwhile, the tech team checked his computer and found the surveillance footage from the night of the incident. Flynn knew immediately that someone had tampered with the footage. Clearly this case was beyond their jurisdiction, so they called in Carrie. Carrie returned to the station and immediately reported the special case to Gemma, but Gemma seemed completely indifferent. She simply told Carrie to bring the footage, and she'd have someone look into it. Meanwhile, a Chinese company called Xanda was holding a product launch to showcase its groundbreaking facial recognition system. The British Security Minister Isaac personally attended. Xanda's purpose in visiting London was to establish a partnership with the UK to provide digital surveillance services for airports and cities. But Isaac believed that using Xanda's system would pose a serious threat to national security.
If we're as good at spying as you say we are, you might be a little more careful.
I've got nothing to hide.
Everybody has something.
The two parted on bad terms. Isaac returned to his office, where he and colleagues from the Central Research Council were assessing the system's security. Suddenly his assistant stood up, saying there was a strange email in Isaac's inbox. The email contained a video. The video claimed Isaac had an illegitimate son in Lagos. The boy's mother Bello dreamed of getting a UK visa to live and work in Britain. She wanted to use Isaac's connection to make it happen. She even said her child could take a DNA test with Isaac. Isaac knew perfectly well that he couldn't possibly have a son. He immediately went to see Wang Lei.
Nice work.
Mr. Turner, I'm on rather a tight schedule.
You got more people to detain?
In light of our previous conversation, my colleagues have decided to return to Beijing. I must escort them to the airport.
No, what is this? Intimidation? Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about. You can fake as much news as you want, but if you think you can meddle in UK government policy, you're sorely mistaken.
If we wanted to meddle, Mr. Turner, do you think this is the best we can do?
But Wang Lei's bold response only left him more confused. Meanwhile, Flynn and Nadia had discovered the victim's last phone call before death. It was with a data analyst named Knox, so Flynn set out to find Knox for questioning. Flynn arrived at Knox's company. At the same time, a van slowly pulled up outside. Two men got out of it. The security guard just realized something was wrong, but was shot down the next second. From upstairs, Flynn saw on the monitor that the guard was lying in a pool of blood. He immediately realized the killers were here. He called for backup right away. Then he went to the 11th floor, found Knox asleep in a sleep pod and woke him up. Then he identified himself. Flynn said there were armed intruders in the building, and they needed to leave immediately. Then they went into the stairwell. When Flynn peeked down the stairs, the lights below suddenly came on. Flynn realized the killers were coming up. He grabbed Knox and ran back. He smashed the camera above them, then hid Knox in a closet. Just after he closed the closet door, he was attacked the next second. The security team immediately contacted Minister Isaac. They said Knox was the number 2 figure in the Central Union, and he had already been attacked. They suspected Isaac would be the next target, so they needed to move him to a secure location. Carrie received news that Flynn was injured and rushed to the hospital. There they briefly discussed the case. Knox had been hiding in the closet and never saw the killer, and the killer had escaped before armed forces arrived. There were no witnesses to the case, and the footage had been wiped clean by the suspect. Carrie pointed out the key detail everyone had missed: close-range shooting. Flynn must have seen the killer's face clearly. He had to be a witness, and needed full protection. Both of the killer's attacks targeted members of the Central Research Council. Then Carrie realized something serious. The killer's goal was to make the police gather all the council members in one safe house to achieve their hidden objective. Carrie rushed to the safe house where Isaac was staying. She told Gemma and Isaac her theory. While everyone was still struggling to predict the next move, Isaac suddenly remembered. He had a remote interview with a TV station about to start. He was about to call the station to cancel it, but the Isaac sitting in the safe house was shocked to see himself already appearing live on TV. Everyone was stunned. Isaac looked completely bewildered. He realized he had been framed through technology, and was now trapped in a situation where he couldn't defend himself. Follow me for the next part of the story.